Hello and good afternoon. For those of you who are interested in Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide but just don't have it set up yet or not sure what to do to get it set up to start playing it, this video is for you. So I'm going to do a quick run through of the requirements for playing it on your computer, and I'll also do a little bit about playing it on your phone. So basically what you'll need is you're going to need an emulator, and then you're going to need a Final Fantasy III ROM, or Final Fantasy VI if you prefer to call it that. I can't tell you where to get the ROM. You'll just have to do some Google searching and find that yourself. I can tell you that the ROM version that you're going to need is Final Fantasy III U version 1.0. That's what the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide website needs to make a randomized ROM. But the first thing that you're going to need is an emulator. And there's a few different options. There's SNES 9X, there's ZSNES, which I don't think is being supported anymore. There's BizHawk is another good one. I use SNES 9X, so I'm going to go through my little tutorial using that. And if you want to use a different emulator, you can go find out how to set that up. They're all pretty simple when you get down to it. So for this one, we're at SNES9X.com. We're going to go over to the downloads. We're going to see this wonderful ad. And then you've got these mirrors that you can download this from. It's been a long time since I've downloaded this before. Let's go to Zophar, because that's been around for like 1,000 years. And then you'll have these different versions over here. So depending on what version of Windows you're on, you'll want to download the correct executable. So you've got 1.6 Windows version 32-bit if you have a 32-bit version of Windows, or 64-bit version of Windows, and you would just download that. So we're going to hit download. We're going to put this in our how-to folder. And when that gets done downloading, we are going to unzip it. We're going to extract it right here. This will give you your emulator. So what you see now is you've got all these different things in here which don't really matter. There's changes and FAQs and so on and so forth, README. But this right here is the emulator. So if I double click on this, I am going to get yelled at by my antivirus first of all. And then I'm going to get my emulator window. Now there's a lot of things that you can do in your emulator. So you can go through and just find out what works for you. I'm going to put the window size to, let's see here, 4x, yeah. You can mess with your input, so if you have a controller, you can go to input configuration. That'll let you put the buttons in on your controller. And then there's some other stuff with sound and all that. From here, you would go to load game or control O. You would find your ROM, and then you would just load it. Now if I load this ROM right now, it's just going to open up the vanilla version of Final Fantasy III, which is what this is, which I don't want to do. What I want to do is make a super cool randomized ROM using Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide.com. So up here at ff6wc.com, we have the Worlds Collide website. This is where all the randomization happens. And if you want to get started really quick, all you have to do is scroll down a little bit. There's a bunch of presets. I'll go through each one of them here in a little bit, but you could just pick a preset. You would choose your version 1.0 US ROM. So in this case, I would find, there's one right there, but I'm going to use the one that I downloaded. So I would use that ROM. I'm going to load it up here. I'm going to tell this little guy that I'm not a robot, and then I'm going to generate. It's going to generate an intro preset ROM. So now I hit generate. It's going to think for a second, and then it's going to give me a pop-up window that says, hey, it looks like you want to download this thing. So I am. So this is my randomized ROM. And then from here, I'll be able to run my emulator again, which I shouldn't have stopped doing before. Let's see. Let's bring you back here. So now I'm in my emulator. I'm going to load game, and I'm going to load up this version right here. It's always going to say bad checksum. Don't worry about that. And there you go. It's all loaded up. I don't know if my controller is going to be automatically done here, but let's just see. Up, left, whoops, left, down, right, B, A, Y, X, start, select, L, R, and I don't care about that other stuff. So now, you'll see that I'm in a Worlds Collide seed. So it's taken the regular ROM and randomized it to give me what I said on the website. Let's close out of this. And then I'll give you a little bit more of a definition for the website. Definition. Explanation, that's the word. The presets are a really great way to get started. So if you're brand new, I would suggest either using the intro, beginner race, or any of the Moogle's first seed presets to get you started off. The Moogle's first seeds are a great one to do because they actually have a video guide associated with them. So you would pick Moogle Seed Part 1 or Part 2, and both of them have their own video that you can follow along and just get an idea of why the runners are doing what they're doing, and just sort of give you a sort of a hand-holding experience to learn the seed. Replay is a more randomized version of sort of a standard race, so you're going to have higher variability on most of the flags. Beginner race is sort of the first intro to character gating outside of Moogle's first seed, and that's where you have to have certain characters to do certain checks. And then after that, there's just a bunch of different race settings. So standard is what you'll see most people racing, and it's the base for most tournaments. Then there's an advanced race, which just has a little bit of a more advanced flag set. And then there's a vanilla race, which has the same requirements as standard race, but it tries to keep as much of the vanilla settings in the game as possible. So vanilla skills, vanilla bosses, etc. And that's sort of it. I mean, you can dig around on the website to do your own thing. A lot of time after you've sort of gotten your feet under you as far as how to use it and get in there and start rolling seeds, I would suggest starting with the standard race as a base, and then you can go through the different tabs and set your own flags to just kind of create a seed of your choosing. When you first get in here, this can be pretty overwhelming. There are a lot of settings for each tab. So like the party tab is huge, the battle tab is huge, and some of this stuff might be a little confusing. There are explanations under each one, but that's why I suggest starting with a preset first, and then after you feel a little more comfortable, what I would do is select a preset that you like, and then maybe change a couple things and do it that way. Another great way to get introduced into sort of newer ways to run seeds or roll seeds is to join the Discord. So if you click the button up here, it's going to take you into the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Discord. And in here, you can, I'm going to get out of this and this. In the Discord, there are all kinds of channels and things that you can do. So there's a racing channel. And this is where all the races that are currently ongoing will be posted. There's also this races alert, which gives you a really quick rundown of all the race rooms that are open. There's also a great channel towards the top called All the Seeds. In this channel, people roll seeds that they think are fun, or that they had a good time with, or that are really hard, or whatever your poison. And you can just scroll through this channel and find all kinds of seeds for you to play. Let's see, what else can I tell you? That's really about it. I don't want to go too far and make this thing too long. I just wanted to give a quick overview of how to start playing Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide. So that's that. I'm going to try and do the same thing on my phone and then maybe stitch the videos together so that you can see that. Or maybe I'll keep them separate, I'm not sure. Anyway, have a fantastic day, all of you, and I hope to see you in-game soon. Alright everybody, and now it's time for the phone version of the FF6 Worlds Collide how-to. Just like on the computer, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need an emulator, and you're going to need the ROM. And then you're going to need to go to the website. So, the first thing we're going to do is get an emulator. Now, I'm on an Android device. This will work a little bit different on an iPhone, but the idea is the same. You're going to go to your store, whatever your store is. Oh, look, I was already there. You're going to look up an SNES emulator, and there's all kinds of options, so you can look around for whichever one you want. I recommend, just like on the computer, playing on SNES 9X. As you can see, I have it installed already, SNES 9X EX Plus, because it's way cooler on the phone, I guess. So you would install the emulator. Then you would find the ROM, which I'm not going to show you how to do, but we talked about that already. And then you would go to the ff6wc.com website and you'd do the exact same thing I walked through on the computer before. So you would go here, you'd select whatever preset you want or make your own seed going through the different themes, or tabs, I mean. Then you would upload your ROM. You would tell the website that you are not, in fact, a robot. You click generate. And it's going to think about it for a second. Make sure that you are not some sort of fed. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's going to wait for a second. I'm not on Wi-Fi right now, so of course it's taking 100 years. And then there you go. It's going to download your file, and then you will be ready to go as soon as it downloads anyway. So then you can go into your emulator. I'm going to load a game. For now, I'm going to go out of here. I'm going to go to my downloads. So I have this Final Fantasy 3 U V1.0 WC K3V whatever. I'm going to click on that. And there we go. I have it playing. Let's see if this messes your minds up. I'm going to flip it over here and turn it up so you can hear it. Ooh. And there you go. As you can see, I am playing Worlds Collide on my phone. It is fantastic. And if you're worried about, my phone is really old or I don't think it could support it, I would definitely give it a try. SNES ROMs are very lightweight and don't take a whole lot of processing power to play on a phone. So even with a super old phone, you could probably do pretty good. So I would definitely try it out. What's the worst that could happen, Your phone could brick out and explode in your hand? Doubtful. But anyway, I hope that's helpful. I hope that if you don't have a computer or whatever, you can still get into the world of Worlds Collide by playing it on your phone. Everybody have a great day. Thanks.